Welcome, everybody, to this week's Take Charge of Your Life discussion, where we teach you how to live healthier, live more empowered, and live more free in mind, body, and soul. Tips in wellness. My name is Tish Taylor. I am from Growth Centric Living. I am a mindset trainer and personal transformation guide. And this is my co-host, Roberta.
Hey everyone, welcome. And I am a holistic health practitioner and a certified elite mentorship trainer along with Tish. And really my focus is helping people overcome in every area of their life, mind, body, and soul, as we will expand on in our talk here. And just super passionate to help people level up and see where their potential is and what's possible to live a life that they can be proud of and leave a legacy.
As both certified elite mentorship forum trainers, we have been certified under our mentor, Mr. Peter Sage. For those of you that aren't aware who he is a world-renowned behavior expert and a self-mastery professional. He's done a bunch of talks, etc. But today I really want to kind of focus on some of his warrior energy since we've been talking about archetypes. He definitely has done some inspiring things as far as 8-time marathon, 8 back-to-back desert marathons in 7 days. What's that called? The Marathon des Sables. Rowing across the Atlantic. And ultimately, it's his warrior energy that has created our premium program, which is the Elite Mentorship Forum, in helping claim his mission of raising global consciousness. So our format today is going to show you a clip of his, show you a little mini teaching, and then Roberta and I are going to break it down into our agenda of giving you a tip for empowering your mindset, living a little more healthier in your body, and then living free in the soul realm.
Excellent. Yeah, so as Tish alluded, our topic this week is the warrior archetype. This is the third in our series of the archetypal energies that we're talking about, the personalities within us. And so the warrior, like she mentioned, is the one who takes action, gets things done without excuses. So if they're on a mission, they're going to focus on that mission until it is accomplished. And let me share this video here.
The third archetype in our series of 4 that Carl Jung brought to the world, or certainly brought to our collective consciousness, is that of the warrior. We talked last time about the magician and how the magician brings forth from the inner world the creativity, the splendor, the wonder, but never really gets any action done, which is why people that are classic magicians, usually starving artists, because they've got all of these ideas, or entrepreneurs that have all of these ideas but never put one into action. That's where you need a strong warrior to step forward. Once the magician has given you the idea, the warrior is all about execution, taking action. A to B, let me get through it. Picking up the sword, slashing through excuses, hacking through obstacles. It is the energy of get it done. And if you don't have a strong warrior because you're too busy trying to make friends or not upset people or living through the validation of approval of other people, and your warrior is weak, then you're going to have great ideas and just not a lot of action.
Okay, so let's jump right into that under our mindset and live empowered section. The warrior, as Peter said, this is your action taker. We alluded to this when we talked in our last discussion, which if you missed it, please, we encourage you to go back. We've talked about the sovereign and the magician so far. So magician is your creative idea person. Your warrior is your get it done energy. The one who doesn't wait for perfect conditions, but moves forward with discipline and courage. They ask, what do I need to get done? If I have, the magician has caught up this idea, I have my goals, I've been inspired, right? What actions need to be taken? How do I actually execute this mission? Warriors cut through excuses. They don't use distractions as reasons to not keep going or fear of judgment. You know, if you catch yourself in that realm, you might be one of our last archetypes, which is the lover. And I certainly have stumbled over that a few times. But the warrior, you know, cuts through all of that and accomplishes their goals. They take action. Empowerment here means choosing courage over comfort and staying committed. The warrior mindset is that of I can, I will, and I do, no matter what obstacles I face.
I love the warrior energy. I have to smile when I think about it because I grew up with that warrior energy. My dad was that way, and just there's so many awesome qualities, right? To get it done, to take care of business, on a mission. So when we think of the warrior energy, they want to take care of the people in their lives. They want you to be safe. They want you to have abundance, and so they're very, by design, focused on that. And so sometimes we can see them as, maybe not very feeling or not very emotional, especially for us lovers. We think they're just all about work, and they kind of are in their design and but what drives them. And so, but there's a loving purpose behind it. And I think of that energy as what helps me, right? Obviously, all of us get through life. If without it, I would just, it's probably give in and not really, move forward in who I am and what I really know is possible. And so, yeah, the warrior energy, I absolutely love it. And I think, as elite mentorship trainers, Tish and I see how often that mind is the battlefield, right? Really, it is the ultimate battlefield, is our own mindset. And so the warrior archetype teaches us that victory comes from mental discipline, and we direct our thoughts toward possibility rather than limitation. So the whole focus of the Elite Mentorship Forum is creating a world of possibilities and creating that world, by aligning with that and changing our mindset. And so, yeah, the warrior is an amazing, energy that I love to embrace.
It's the part that, of us that keeps us showing up every week to create these discussions and, try to help those of you that are listening out there. It is the reason that we get up ourselves and work on our own growth, despite our obstacles and hardships that we face. We just keep picking ourselves back up and going along on our mission. So my tip in this realm is, to make yourself a rule, commit to one bold action per day. Each day, write down one thing, big or small, that you're going to do that moves your life forward. No matter what it is, commit that you're going to complete this one thing, no excuses today. Keep building and getting familiar with that warrior energy if that's one that you are not so familiar with.
Yeah, I think sometimes, especially for magician type people or, people that are more inner world, it seems like a challenge to get into the warrior. But honestly, one thing that drives the warrior energy is the energy of determination, which can come from anger. For me, it's, in a good way, because anger is a motivational energy. It doesn't have to be destructive. It can be like, I'm done with settling and I'm going to move into the next thing that I know is on my, agenda to do, whether it's for my life or for someone else. And so I use that energy too. I like that. I like that the warrior has some anchor in it, because being this more gentle, not want to hurt other people kind of person, I definitely need that energy to get through the outer world life and to take care of business, so to speak, and just to have that place in the world. So yeah, I love warrior energy. And once I realized that anger is a positive, it really helped me too, because I used to think, being angry is wrong, but the warrior, they use anger all the time to determine where they're going to go. So that really has helped me to not think that that's foreign to me, but it's actually very aligned with who I am and what I need. So I love it. And so the next section is the body, living healthy. So the power of action, and where do we get that power from, right? So without physical vitality, there's no energy to act, there's no strength to endure, and there's no stamina to see things through. So physically, we have to have health in order to carry out a mission, right? I mean, regardless, like we talked, some warriors are, soldiers or firemen or policemen. And I was actually in the military, so I have a little bit of experience on what that feels like to be thrown into a world where it was all warrior energy. It was either sink or swim. And thankfully, I grew up on a farm and was trained in some of that. So I, did it no matter how scared I was or how overwhelmed I felt. I just committed to not, letting that be an issue. It was like, no matter what, I'm going to do this and nobody's going to stop me. So thank God for the warrior. So, this is really where my quantum nutrition comes in for me, because when the body's deficient, toxic, or running low on frequency foods or good things that are going to fuel us and give us strength, and that includes mental strength, because the brain is a physical organ, right? If it's not functioning, it's tired, or if it's clouded with toxic foods or, chemicals or metals, it's not going to be able to think clear. It's not going to be able to carry out a mission. So aligning with what our body needs to keep it clean and keep it nourished and fueled for the battle, so to speak, of the warrior. Without that, there's just no, at least that was kind of my story, really. There was no way to step into those things that I knew I wanted to do and that I was capable of doing, because my mental and physical level of dysfunction or of kind of like I guess they were, illnesses in the realm of labeling. I just couldn't carry out what I was. And that was the most frustrating thing. And I created a lot of self dislike because of that. Now putting all the pieces together, I just didn't have the ability at the time to do it. And so that's kind of what drove me into, finding the solution so that I could overcome and then live into that life.
I like how you kind of encompass the warrior. Oftentimes we think of that like physical warrior that, is in shape, their body, right? They're ready for war, kind of essentially, if you think of the most obvious warrior. So they're taking care of their body, but it's also mentally that we need to make sure that we're taking care of our minds, and so that we can think clearly as a warrior in order to be able to take those aligned actions and focus on what needs to get done.
Yeah, that is a huge part. I think, all of us know what it's like to get into like a food coma. That's what I think call it, where we've eaten so much junk that we're just tired and lethargic. And, we wake up the next day and we're still, not clear, and we're just not motivated or inspired. So what we put in our body is a huge, huge effect on how we show up in these energies in a positive, empowered way.
Every Thanksgiving when you said food coma.
Yeah. So it really just comes down to choice. I was tired a lot in my life because of the brain fatigue and the brain injury. And so that's something I hate, that feeling of being tired. I don't even like overeating because I don't want to feel tired after I eat a meal. So, growing up, we'd always have to get up and do dishes, right, with a big family. So I don't like to just sit after any meal. So that feeling of being lethargic and tired is just not my favorite things anymore. So that motivates me to eat clean.
We talked about the warrior being, their missions are for the greater good, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in our soul realm as well. But I think about how mine has come out as a parent, as a mother. To be honest, I didn't eat very healthy when I first got married. I would say I didn't like vegetables and those kinds of things. But being a mother and knowing that, it was my job to take care of these children, it was my job to teach them to be healthier, that changed my actions as well. Even brought me to doing things late at night, like making food for them, baby food, so I could try to get rid of, other toxins that may be out there. And it's amazing the things that I think of that I got done while having a career, while taking care of, the children. So I always say that the warrior energy for me is a little bit quieter, but there are certainly some aspects of my life that it shined and, came out.
Yeah, like I said, the warrior wants everyone to be safe and have a good life. And if we don't give our children a foundation of health, they're not going to have a good life. They're going to have a constant battle with physical issues, and which definitely, like we said, affect the mental issues just as much. So that's a good reference. I love that. Each morning I have for a tip here, set your top 3 warrior priorities for the day, and determine, what you're going to do as far as food and restoring your energy and aligning with what's good for your health, right? Because like we said, that's a non-negotiable, really, the health dynamic of our life in general.
All right, so that brings us to live free in our soul realm. At higher consciousness, the warrior fights not for ego. It's not just about, what can I do for me? How can I be better? They are not somebody just looking for themselves and their own best. They're looking to be of service, for the greater good of, a greater purpose, a soul mission. True freedom comes when you release your people pleasing and external validation, your needs that come from that ego, and acting more in alignment with, some of the things we talked about, like the greater good, like bringing up, Peter's crazy goal of global consciousness, or I shouldn't say crazy, extravagant, large goal. A spiritual warrior cuts through illusion and attachment and chooses truth and values over comfort or reputation.
Yeah, I think of the warrior archetype as connecting to my highest self. Because my true self wants me to get to my end goal in life, whatever that purpose is, whatever, I feel like I'm here for. The warrior energy will be the one that really ultimately gets me there through that inspiration and through that passion and mission and never giving up and never quitting. So, when, as Tish and I are guides in self-mastery, we see that when people ignore that soul calling, we end up fighting battles that really don't belong to us. Like we end up focusing on other people. We end up getting caught up in other people's drama, but never really aligning with truly what's, our path. And that to me is such a critical piece. I want to, when I feel aligned, that's when I'm the most happy, I give my best version, I guess, to myself and to other people.
When you're saying that, it made me think of like how important it is, all of these archetypes, to be very familiar with them and for us to work on it. It's our sovereign that really needs to be setting the mission. And then, the warrior is the soldier energy that, carries it out. And, we really want to make that point here in the soul realm that, it's not for selfish reasons. They're not taking action, just for the betterment of themselves. But these are our heroes in the world, the people that are truly aligned with, their warrior energy and fighting in that soul realm for a greater purpose than themselves. These are, our world peacekeepers, those, fighting for minority rights. Being aligned with your warrior is not just about physical action either. We don't want you to mistake in that it can be about peaceful protest. You don't have to fight to have a strong warrior. You could be writing letters. It could show up as, advocates for change. Even some of, our scientists and some of those that are creating programs and stuff that, improve people's health, etc., like this program that, we're offering here in the Elite Mentorship Program that, are based on mindset, etc., that don't look like, a typical sword and weapon warrior, but they are still, fighting.
I love that because it reminds me of keeping our dream alive, whatever our dream, is that's been planted in us from when we were created, and keeping that dream alive no matter how challenging or how many people kind of push back against it or whatever obstacles come up. The warrior being aligned with its highest self or our higher self won't back off. We just won't back down. So that's why I guess I love this energy so much.
Excellent. So our tip is to, try to stay aligned with your sacred warrior. Before making your daily decision list or your daily action list, pause for a second and ask, am I doing this from fear? Why am I choosing to put these things on my list? Is it people pleasing, or is it about strength, value and truth? Ensure that your inner hero is leading your actions down your soul's path.
So to summarize the three areas of mind, body, and soul, I'm just going to give you a quick reframe on a couple of them. So in the mind, the warrior mindset is I can and I will, no matter what obstacles I face, just maintaining that mindset. In the body, the warrior archetype lives in the body, of course. So without physical vitality, there really is no energy to act, no strength to endure, and no stamina to see things through in our lives. And in the soul realm, like Tish just said, is true freedom comes when you release people pleasing and external validation, acting in alignment with your soul's mission.
We really hope that you have found value in our talk today as we continue our discussions on archetypes. And if you are feeling, like you're embodying your warrior and you're ready for change, you're ready to take steps in taking charge of your life in all areas, both mind, body, and soul, then we invite you to join our Elite Mentorship Program. Reach out to us and find more information about it. Let's train together. Let's sharpen our swords of self-mastery and rise into the majestic versions of ourselves that life is calling us to be.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And we invite you to schedule a free consultation with us, just like a discovery call, to see if this aligns with you and if it fits into your, what would be for the highest good of yourself. And like and subscribe and share this with anyone so that you could help us share our story. And the quote we have to finish this off is, "The warrior is not the one who always wins, but the one who always fights with purpose."
Excellent. We hope to see you on our next call about the lover as we finish up our discussion on the archetypes.
Thank you.